All right, welcome back for another review. We're gonna do another movie. I have that I want a movie that I really would like for us to dive into is Yardie. Yardie, actually did not see any initial promo for it. Did not know this movie exists. I actually saw it on. Is this something in my hair? I actually saw it on Amazon Prime as a suggestion, and I said, "Hey, the visual thumbnail art was cool and cute." I was like, "Let me go for it." So, Yardie. So let me give. Let's just do a little deep dive. So it's looking like it's about an hour and 41 minutes, and I felt all hour and 41 of those minutes, but it doesn't mean I would. I still tell you to watch, but I want to talk about that. It was brought out in 2018, UK crime drama. Background: this is a British crime drama film directed by Idris Elba, based on the novel of the same name by Jamaican-born writer Victor Headley. Did not know it was based on a book, so I would be. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. Would I read the book? We'll see. Writer, director Idris Elba. Writers Norman Brock, Martin Stellman. Let's go on into it. So you got main character Young D, and then you got the regular D. Regular D is by his name is Amal Amin, I think. So let me go into talking about what I think about him. I think his name is Amal or Amil. Amel? I don't know. But let's call him D. D is attractive. D has very beautiful smile and pretty teeth. He gives you that Wale ish kind of swag. Like, yeah, he was attractive. Like, he kept me looking because his smile was so attractive, and he had those dreads. Then even when you cut him off, I was like, oh, he's still attractive. All right, so let's go into the movie. So the movie is beautiful. Like, it's filmed in Jamaica at the beginning, and then it's striking. That's what made me keep watching. Is because it was so beautiful at the beginning, and you could tell it was trying to dive into mysticism. So mythical. Have you ever been in an environment, for those who travel, that you go somewhere and you can tell that things are living in the air? And I don't mean physical things, but the mythical lore of the whatever city is in the air. So, like, if there's any folklore or any previous historical connotations about the city, you can feel it lingering. So, like, for instance, so the whole basis of the film is based off Jerry Dread, as in dreadlocks. He had these gorgeous. I love locks, so any type of lock, you got me. Especially if they're like more boho lot, like where it's like that it's like other natural, that they're putting like berries and fruit, like berries and oils, like, oh my god, I love it. So Jerry Dread is this peaceful cat, right? He is trying to get peace within the community because, once again, Idris Elba does a great job of bringing the viewer into the environment. I know I'm in Jamaica. I feel and sense the folklore in the air. I see you know how kind of like a Toni Morrison book where she can talk about dust, wind bringing the dust up, and something about to happen. I feel the dust. I see the plantain. I see the food. I can smell the food. I'm there. And then now it's in the 70s, so then you gonna shot me backwards to a time where I didn't even exist. I'm with you. Of course, it brings to mind Bob Marley. I'm immediately like, oh, if we're gonna see Bob Marley walk through, like, I'm there. What I like is that what he did with Jerry Dread is that he made it to the point where you feel honored to know Jerry Dread. He made Bob Marley almost an afterthought, if that's possible, because he brings you so much into the environment that you're so captivated by the positivity of Jerry Dread, that it's almost unfortunate that we couldn't have known. Like, have you ever had, how can I explain? Have you ever had a community member that, let's just say, for instance, somebody that that's tangible, because let's just say they were a good singer. They're so good that if somebody offered you the concert to go see the local singer versus like a big time star, you would opt to go see the local singer. That's the analogy I think he was trying to do with Jerry Dredd. Like, if I had a choice between a Jerry Dredd event or a Bob Marley event, Me and my body now would want to go see Bob Marley just because I know Bob Marley. But if what he does is bring me so far in the community that I would opt for a Jerry Dredd event. I hope that made sense. So he did a good job of making us see like what Jerry Dredd was trying to do and how it's a privilege to have known him. Good job. So then there's unrest in the city. You're met with a little girl being shot out in the street. Now it seems like not a lot has changed. And Jerry wants to do something positive for the for the environment and for Kingston. He tells young D to stay inside with Piper, stay in their little region that they live. But young D follows along with Jerry and goes out one particular night to get things set up. So Jerry Dredd is into the music. So he sets up his sound box and stuff and puts some lights up until the community. Does a good job of this, and he ends up bringing the communities together. Once bringing the communities together, you have one head of one gang and one head of another, and they come up on stage. What ends up happening, though, is that it's unfortunate that one of them, somebody from the audience shoots, and they end up killing Jerry Dredd, which is the whole basis of this movie. So young D sees this play out, and he sees the person who does the shooting. I don't know if I want to give that away, so you have something to look forward to in the movie. But it's very unfortunate. Then the whole basis of the movie is this unsettling bitterness and unsettling restless in this boy's spirit. Because this guy, he sees, it becomes then what they never say, which makes sense to me, is that I see the bad override the good. I seen what this individual was trying to do for the community, and it still didn't matter. So I could see, which he didn't do, which I would have liked to see that happen, him question God. But instead, one of the heads of the gangs take him in and raises him like a so-called son. But he basically has him in the world of crime. And I just think that boy really was his son, he wouldn't have had him out there like that. Make a long story short, he ends up wanting, because D is a hothead, because you got to keep in mind, he done saw his brother or uncle get murdered in front of him doing some peaceful event. Of course, I'm going to hold anger. So when he deals with any customers, he takes all of that aggression out on them. So he halfway beats somebody to death. And King, what's his last name? One of the kingpins sends him to London because at this point, D has a baby mama. And the baby mama lives in London. And you know Idris Elba, honey. Anytime he can tie London back into a show or a movie, he about that life. If he could have put London in The Wire, they ass would have been over London shooting somehow. So I knew it was coming. So in the transition, no, it didn't really make much sense, but we're going to ride it. We're going to ride it out. So they end up going back over to London. So D gets on a whole airplane with, I don't know the drug world, but a whole brick, bigger than if bricks are dense, like a brick for a house is dense. I think this dope way more than an actual physical brick. That's how tight they had this compacted in this plastic saran wrap and duct tape. So let me stop. So he gets on this plane and goes over to London. Baby mama, doing her little teasing. You can't kill me. No, he's gonna be parlayed up there. So she lets him in for the night, and he comes in and he gets to see his daughter that he hadn't seen. She's so pretty, so cute, and so he ends up immediately learning how to start living that life again. I was like, it's just so interesting how people can go from one environment, a culture, and immediately start back up the life that they once had. And I just thought it was interesting how he knew to go ahead and navigate it a certain way, because I'd have been timid on shoot. This is a whole new area. I don't even know how to catch the bus, let alone calling a kingpin to get this stuff popping. So make a long story short, he ends up connecting with whatever kingpin is in London that the original kingpin in Jamaica had set him up with, the plug, and he ends up, as most rap songs go, he ends up messing with the plug and done stole this brick. And so now he's gotta figure out a way to either unload, whatever he got to do. And so the girlfriend had found the drugs on him and said, you got to go flush that down the toilet. And even I would have been like, girl, that'll get the whole damn water city high. Do you ain't see this brick and the duct tape and the saran wrap? This mug is heavy. It would have been so much powder, y'all. Oh my God. So anyway, so then he ends up getting connected with these young guys that try to rob him. They become friends, and particularly he becomes friends with the little light-skinned cat, and I don't feel like looking to see the name, that has the cute little pigtail natural hair. I thought that was so cute. Anyway, he befriends them, makes his little friends, but he come to find out they're in music. So it starts to interlace some of the interwovenness about Jerry Dredd and him trying to unpack the layers on who knows the guy who shot Jerry Dredd. And of course, Jerry Dredd is a ghost, but he tends to follow and linger around him. So that's where the mysticism comes in. And then I'm not going to talk about it anymore. The plot, I'm going to let you watch it because it unfolds out in London. Would I suggest watching this? Absolutely, especially those who like British entertainment and British crime dramas. I don't necessarily go to that genre. I'm into love movies and independent films, so it was shocking that I moved forward, but I liked the thumbnail, so I watched. Yes, it was decent enough for me to take me entertained, because it's not my genre. It's not fair for me to say anything negative. It's just not my genre, but it was good because I got to see the mysticism that drew me in. It lost that flair once it got to London. And I wonder, did it lose its flair because London... But see, I've been to London before, and it seemed so upbeat. That's why I was so shocked that it had lost so much flair. And it seemed to be very gray. And I don't know if that was intended by the director. It was very gray. It's almost like it changed film. Like he started a whole new movie. That's what happened. It seemed like it was... Okay, I could tell he filmed one part in Jamaica and one part in London. But it almost seemed like he was dead set on directing two totally different films in one. Like it wasn't... I hate to say this. And Idris, I love you, but it wasn't as cohesive as I would have liked it to be. It was good, though, and I wanted to see more of that, what you do. Because you did so well when it was in Jamaica. Oh, it was good in Jamaica. Once he hit that plane to London, it just seemed like it went into like this Guy Ritchie arena. Like you were trying to compete with like... What's the name of these different movies that are out of British that I know, like the Guy Ritchie films and the what's the Train Spotting? Like it began to drift off into imagery, and it's not because, and that's why I'm gonna say, because I've been to London before and spent time. It wasn't because it was in London. At first, I was gonna say, people gonna say, well, it was because it was in London. No. Even the film, it just like the whole dynamic of the lane, like everything seemed to change, and it changed too quickly. So I would say, like, it didn't even have no lead up for him to, like, I would have liked to see him do introspection when he got to London and he knew he was going to rip off the plug. Like, I would have liked him sit on the edge of the bed with his hands together, like, thinking, like, and then saying to something in Jamaica, like, sometimes, like, I would have had him say, like, sometimes plans change. Or, like, be in his mind, he thinking, be like, sometimes you gotta plan different. Like whatever the saying in Jamaica is about things changing, I would have liked to see that inserted, then bust out. And then I think he was trying to capture elements in London that are in some of these other movies or in the British series. Because I don't watch that genre, but I think he was trying to... I would have asked Idris, were you trying to compete with a certain market? Or are you accustomed to a certain market that I don't necessarily watch? Because you had my attention with the mysticism in Jamaica. You had my attention with the mysticism of Jerry Dredd. You picked the whole him going to London was random, but you still had my interest then. Okay, he ripped off the plug, and the way he did it was, and I get that this was in the 80s, but still though, Scarface was Kill 'Em Up was in the 80s. So that concerned me, but I even got past the plug. He was dinky. Then we get into like the dynamics between him and his daughter, and that's how I know that the London part fell out, because he went to his daughter like without reestablishing anything. This girl had been born and raised. He just said, "Hey, baby," and they back playing la la la. Shit, like for me as a child, I'd have been like, "Who is this man with these dreads?" Unless she had an inner sense that this is her daddy, but there should have been some reestablishment. Then who is this man causing my mama so much distress? Because the mom seemed out of sorts. I'm trying to remember. So he defiled the plug and, started moving in a different direction. I did like the dynamic of his friends and his friendship. But interesting how bitterness can lead to you not appreciating those who care about you the most. That's a good lesson that came out of this. Because, it gets interesting. Would I give it a 5 out of 5? I would not. If it would have stayed as cohesive in the Jamaica part, he'd got a 5 out of 5. Even the direction, I was like, Idris did this. This looks good. It seemed like when it got to London, it's something about once it hit the waters, it began to compete with another genre instead of being itself. So yes, I would tell you to watch it for fun. You could definitely be but it was a good. I'm proud. Ready to go, Idris. Don't hold that again. No, this is just me being a critical film person. Cinematography was awesome. It's just that something switched when you got to London. And I don't know if it's just London is hard to capture. But I just know the times that I experienced in London, it was so lively. And one thing London gets right is the outlay of the land and the diversity. Like, also, I would have liked to see D be shocked by what he saw. Like, it's a whole new environment. He never seemed swayed by nothing. Like, I don't know. It's just interesting. Good job. I would like to see you make more films and be successful. My criticisms are just me critiquing a body of work. Has nothing to do with anything else besides just, trying to give my honest reflection. Let me dive into some of the reviews so I can see what people are saying. Somebody says solid and stylish debut. I agree. Somebody said long overdue, but they're from London. And he said a movie like this has never been made. I don't know. They'll bring a Caribbean to London, so real Caribbean. So it must be a high population of Caribbean people in London. Let's see. It says it takes place partly in Jamaica and partly in London. But that's it. I think the London overshadowed the Jamaican. It wasn't 50-50. And then, no, I can't give away the ending. And so I disagree with these, like, not a good film. It was good. It kept my attention. Like I said, that's what it is. I finally put my finger on it. It lost its mysticism once it hit London. Outside of Jerry Dredd being there sometimes, it lost its mysticism because the individual would have carried that mysticism with them. Like an individual from New Orleans brings their... Okay, I'll take it back. I'm Southern. So a person from Southern states brings that with them where they go. He didn't tend, like, it just seemed all lost. Like, let me see. One more. I hate when somebody give a bad review, they don't support their answer. So that's why I didn't read it. I don't know much about it. Saying that this is a passion project of Idris and I'm happy. It's just, anyway, I'm not gonna overthink this review. Good job, Idris, but however, something happened once it hit the ocean. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents. All right, bye-bye.